morning, everyone. It's 11:05. We're going to start promptly. I come to you this morning super excited. I've missed you guys, been traveling for a week. Went out to New Jersey, Hoboken, for an intensity graduation with the Align team, who is the number one producing sales volume team in New Jersey, and they're in the top five within EXP. So was blessed to be out there in some East Coast humidity and rain. Got to enjoy, New Jersey for what it was worth. Crossed over the Hudson River to the city and had some dinner and further some business discussions. And then I trekked to Atlanta, where I was consumed with emotion. My sister, who's my only sibling, graduated from Clark Atlanta University with her second master. She's got a master in education, with the intention of becoming like a superintendent. So she's an administrator. She's already got her MBA, went and got her master's in education. And I'm happy to announce, and this may be premature, but she's not on these calls, and nor will she see the recordings. So we're going to kind of keep it here in the space, but she'll be attending Harvard for her PhD in the very near future. Yeah, so I'm super.
Yeah.
What? Coon? I need you to control yourself. Do you anti-Harvard?
Hey, I'm no. I said yeah. What you mean? I'm excited for her.
Oh, let's go. All right. Well,
Yeah, man.
hey,
Ain't
well,
no. Hey, look. Ain't no bad energy up in this. Come on
I,
now.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You know what you can do with a little bit of those proceeds from your GCI is you could throw her a donation because Harvard is expensive.
Hey, this marketing material expensive too. Shit.
Hey, you're not lying about that, man. It pays the cost to be the boss. So, I want to leverage everyone's time, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I missed you dearly. Was thinking about you while we were in Hoboken, rocking the intensity graduation. Dan, thank you for holding it down. Heard that the session last week was super substantive. We'll get into a bunch of our numbers and all that today. But before we get started, I'm gonna ask you all if you humanly and physically can to turn your cameras on. We're here for 55 minutes. I thought I did, D. Let me do it again. There we go. I did. Thanks for the reminder. I want to ask that if you can be present with us for the next 53 minutes. This is a time that we invest with each other every Thursday for 55 minutes to grow, not only as professionals, but even more importantly, as human beings. And so what I want to do today, I'm going to need a few minutes. That's fine, Bandana. I completely understand, but when you have the opportunity, would appreciate that you join the space. Before we get started, if you are physically able, I'm going to ask that you grab a writing utensil, something to write with and something to write on. Because we're going to begin, I want to open this week's session with a thought-provoking visualization exercise. Super powerful. And I'm going to ask that if you can, please contribute. Please be present. Please give yourself the opportunity to tap deeper into you. And so that's how we're going to open this morning. And I want to open with a thought. And that thought is around your tenets of life. And when I say tenets, what I mean are like foundational beliefs and values for yourself. I'm going to share my screen quickly because I believe I've got everything prompted and ready to go. But when we talk tenets of life, we're talking about our foundational beliefs and values. What we have to understand is when we walk in our superpower is this. Everywhere that we step our 10 toes, if we all have 10 toes, everywhere we step our feet, our energy, we leave an impression. We leave an impression on people, we leave an impression on environments, we leave an impression in the universe. And so when we're talking about tenets, this is something that is is relatable to only you. What 5 things do you want to be known for? I want you to think about that. I did this exercise myself a little earlier, and it was extremely powerful. I'm not speaking from the professional lens. I'm talking as a human being. Your tenets of life, how you show up, what impressions you leave in this world, what impressions you leave on the people that you have relationships with. What 5 things do you want to be known for? As I'm asking the question and posing it to you and leaving it on the screen so that you can have a visual reference, I'm sure you're getting downloads as I speak. What 5 things do you want to be known for as a human being? I want you to write them down, like legit, as they are downloaded into you. Transfer those 5 things over to a piece of paper. Write them down. And as you're writing them down, I want you to let them sink into your subconscious. And then I'm going to ask for 3 to 5 bold human beings walking in their superpower to take themselves off of mute, raise their hand, and be courageous enough to share with the collective wisdom your tenets of life. Got one? Nicole? I'll wait. Please participate in the conversation today. Brandy, thank you. Oh, dog, how are you driving with your seatbelt on, raising your hand, writing as we were instructed on the paper? How you doing all? Don't even answer the question yet.
The
Just wait.
taxi, baby. Come
Your
on,
turn
man.
is coming. Your turn is coming. I've got four courageous human beings to share with us your tenets of like he got that autopilot right. So we're going to go in order on my screen. We're going to go Nicole, Nicole, Brandy, O Dog, Blessing, and then Lisa. Thank you, courageous human beings, for really being willing to contribute your tenets of life and share with us. Nicole, happy birthday. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, today is Nicole's birthday. Today is the day that the world was graced with her spirit. So happy birthday, Nicole.
Thank
She's
you.
she's got, if you can see, that is not like an outer space cap. That's not outer space gear that she's got on her dome. She is literally sitting under the hair dryer in her living room.
This is the
Okay.
steam hydration machine, actually. The dryer's not.
Okay.
But
Fancy smancy.
a
Nicole,
little pampering
what's your
for
contribution?
so the 5 things I want to be known for are being honest, loyal, hardworking, loving, and creative.
Do those, like, when you speak to those tenets that obviously came from you, do they what do you, when you speak of, you said honesty. What were the other 4?
Loyalty, being hardworking, loving, and creative.
So when you're loving, that's loving, that means that your decisions are rooted in love and empathy and compassion and connection,
Mhm.
right? Let that settle in your superpower because that's who you are. I love that. And you know, Nicole, through like your life's experiences, you have truly embodied those tenets of life. And they're clearly reflective in how you engage, in your strength, in your courage, and how you show up for yourself. So thank you for sharing that. Salute you, birthday girl.
Thank you.
Thank you for being present and contributing on your birthday. Brandy, blessing you on deck. Lisa, you're in the hole. Brandy, what's your contribution? Bless us with the tenets of life, your tenets of life.
All right. Happy birthday, Nicole, by the way. Um, so mine are being known for my heart, leading with love and honesty. My presence, creating belonging, living fully, not perfectly, and walking with faith and fire.
Whew. Faith and fire. The cool thing I love about faith is it's really about trusting in a higher vision beyond what can be seen. No matter what life is throwing our way, and life throws things our way, you guys. We're in real estate. Okay. We're entrepreneurs. We are the risk takers of the risk takers. But to stay rooted in faith, no matter what it looks like, right? Because our faith literally has the power to bend our reality, is extremely powerful superpower. That if you're not standing in that, you're not walking in that, I would encourage you to be courageous enough to be introduced to that. Brandy, you are a walking testament of faith in action. Thank you for your contribution. Really appreciate that. Blessing, I see you're driving.
I am driving. Hello, fabulous people.
Hello,
Uh,
fabulous lady.
So I want to be known as what I want people to know and understand the power of faith when they do encounter me. Um, I so being an example of faith, empowering people to see what's possible,
Mm,
setting intentionality in everything we do,
mm,
and transparency and vulnerability.
mm. You know, there's strength in vulnerability. There's like transformative power in being vulnerable. Something about that. The spaces that we've created within just the team, Keep It Moving, Conversion Clinic, and any other coaching sessions that we have. I think vulnerability is that muscle that we frequently exercise, and that all invites us into this space of growth. I love that, Blessing, and you continue to operate in that vulnerability because that's where your superpower, that's where it shines. Thank you for your contribution, Lisa. We're gonna close out with you. This is good.
Hey guys, happy birthday, Nicole. So mine is kind of similar to what we've heard. Um, just honesty is really a big one for me. Being good-willed, trustworthy, gritty, and empathetic.
Gritty and empathetic. Now
Hmm.
that is the superpower combination
Yeah.
that runs through walls. You know, I love it all. I love it all, Lisa. Thank you for your contribution. I really appreciate you guys. And here is the following action. Those tenets of life, your foundational beliefs and desires, that's who you are. When I spoke to a visualization exercise, I really want you to take a second, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. We're not going to spend much time on this, but see yourself expressing those tenets in everything that you do as a human being. What does that feel like? Like, take action on each one of those tenets that have resonated from your uniquely, divinely created self. And when you take action on those tenets as a human being, they will naturally transfer over to your life as a real estate professional, to your relationships and everyday engagement, to your engagement with your client base, your relationship with your spouse, your brother, your sister, your parents, your nieces, your nephews, your children. Like, totally and completely embody those tenets of life that you have designed or determined for you on how you want to show up. And I'll tell you why. Because there's a time for everything, ladies and gentlemen. And your time for action is now. Love it. All right. We are on the field. Let's get a kind of bring those tenets onto the field. Dan and I have a packed itinerary for you. But before we just segue over, resonate with those tenets that you designed for yourself that really came from you. Meditate on those before you go to sleep. Call them out to yourselves when you're awake, when you're moving around, when you're engaging, because that's the cornerstone of your superpower. Dan, let's get into some wins of the week. We want to talk about wins. We've been crushing it, right? I saw another transaction logged for May, Dan, and I'm like, no, no. One of the only times that I've had what sounded like a negative response to a closed transaction, but we're giving them too much in May. We're at 14.
Yeah. So, like Vernon said, I mentioned this in the Slack channel. We are just killing it for May. We're way above our goal, which is amazing. So if you get a deal in contract in the next 8 days, you get out, show a client around, log in the sales tracker, totally fine. But wait to put it into Zillow. Unless you got like a 7 day turnaround, unless you got a really fast close, 7 day, 10 day, whatever it is, hold off on putting it into Zillow. Send me a message on Slack if you want to double check. I'd encourage, especially if you've got a faster turnaround closing time frame, but we want to start putting some of those deals into June because we're going to be at like 175% for May, which is amazing. Where doing very, very well. You guys have logged a lot of deals. We've had really amazing momentum coming into the summertime. And so the more we can push that, spread that out, even it, that'll just let us play the game a little bit better.
Nice. So just, I believe we're at 180 something percent the target I checked this morning. So I just want to make sure that that message is clear to everyone. If we get in the contract, post today, Aaron, hold the transaction until June, the following month. Sierra, log the transaction the following month. Is everybody clear on that? Are we clear on that? Want to make sure. George, I know you're getting in the contract. Log your stuff in June. Boom.
And just to be clear, it's totally fine to put it in the Team Fast sales tracker right now.
Yeah.
Log it in Zillow in June.
In June. Everybody good on that? Otis, Jacob, I know you guys are going to be in Jay. Everybody good? Carla, I know you got some stuff. Your pipeline is hot. We just had a one-to-one this week. Sonny, looking to have your name on the board for Zillow. So make sure that we log it for June.
So, okay, for clarification, so anything that we get in a contract this month, just log it into Zillow in June is in the contract?
Correct. So you're going to log it with the sales tracker ASAP.
Oh, what?
As long as you haven't gotten the lead in May and you closed it. No. As long as that's right.
Don't even worry about that. Yeah, just if you get a deal in contract in the next 7 days,
Log
it in the Team Fast Sales Tracker and just wait on doing anything in the Zillow Premier Agent app.
Until
if you got questions about it, shoot me a message on Slack. I'm 100% happy to clarify on any of that. But if we enter it in Zillow in the month of June, it counts towards the month of June. So we just want to push some of those deals out since we're really, really, really good for May.
Everybody clear on that? I saw two hands go up and go down. Aaron, you had
just real quick, just to if you could shoot a friendly reminder. And part of the reason why I get overzealous with it sometimes is because I like to get stuff done so I don't forget. And so if I don't do it, I might not remember to actually do it in June. So Samantha or somebody sending a Slack message like, "Hey, remember to put that in June" will help.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. If you don't have it logged, if you wait, there's mechanisms for the transactions team. They'll hit you up and make sure, hey, we need the Zillow RFA, and that'll all get we have to have that before the deal can close out. So there'll be people to ping you for that anyway.
Everybody clear? Cool beans. Let's talk wins for the week. Let's spend 3 to 5 minutes on some of our wins for the week. Clearly, as I look into back end data, we've had tremendous wins, for the entire year, and now really creating this massive momentum going into the perfect time in the year where sun is coming out, buyers are coming out. You know, it's I'm telling all of my leads, it's discount season, right? It's sellers are giving credits. I think the new stat is 44% of sellers are giving concessions or credits right now, according to the most recent data. 8 to 10% of properties have received or accepted offers way under list price. So what that means is it's buyer season. So let's talk about some wins. Anyone got some wins that they want to share with the group so that we can celebrate as a team quickly? And then we'll move right over into some of our updates for Zillow. Aaron, what's your win for the week, brother?
It was more of a technique win. Last week, Glenn talked about a story where he went in with a blank BRBC and was able to get the person to sign after it happened. Well, I had a client who was real-time touring, so I was trying to get the appointment to do a consultation before the thing, and the lady hit me with, "Can't you just show me the house without pressuring me?" And so I was like, "Oh, whoa." And so I responded like, "Yeah, sure, meet you at the house." She showed up and we met there. And then when I went there, I had her name on there and her and her husband were there. I left it blank, like commission everything, and told her, "Hey, this is negotiable." I had it on a clipboard. "This is negotiable. You write what you want. I'm not trying to press you to do anything. I'm here to give you information." And we walked through that condo. I talked about some of the other comps in the community that were going on and was like talking to them about what they were looking for. And at the end of it, they did it for 60 days and they put my 2.5 on there. And today I'm taking them out to another one in Marina Bay in Richmond. Hasn't closed or went to contract yet, but you know what? It worked. It was a good, solid strategy, and I was able to like immediately employ it after I heard it from Glenn. So big shout out to Glenn because that did kind of
Big shout out to Glenn. You know, Dan and I were meeting yesterday, and he gave me the same, case study, the story, or Glenn's like win. That could, because that's a total win. And here's what I'm hearing. This is the new best practice on how to present the single property touring agreement. This is the new best practice. Why? Because it relieves the anxiety and the stress and the commitment to something or someone that the lead has no idea who it is. It also puts the fire underneath our butt to really push us to show the depth of our value. Like when we leave our commission field blank, when we leave the term of the working relationship blank and we leave that to the decision of the lead based upon our interaction, we're going to produce. We're going to step up. We're going to present value. We're going to bring our appointment met packet, our marketing packet. We're going to run the entire appointment met play because we know that we're leaving these ever most important fields blank, contingent upon the impact and the impression that we leave on the lead. And from what I'm hearing, we're 3 for 3 with that approach. Jacob just said he had the success with it. Aaron's had a success with it. Glenn's had a success with it. So if you're having a challenge presenting the single property touring agreement and getting folks to sign on without meeting you, I would encourage you to implore this new better practice. Hey, you know what? We're just going to leave it blank. I'm going to sign it because I'm committed. And I believe that when by the conclusion of our interaction, you're going to want to work with me. That relieves all pressure, right? And then it puts the pressure on you to produce, to really show your value. But it creates an experience for the lead that is unlike any other experience that an agent has presented, because most agents are trying to shove the single property touring agreement down the lead's throat in order to see the property. I love this approach. Drea, Mama San, how are you? Good to see you. Missed you guys. What's your contribution? What's your win for the week?
I'm closing my third Zillow buyer lead this week, which was great win. It's what it was, like a condo lead. It was a lot of ups and downs, but got through it, and handing over keys tomorrow. It was
Hey,
great. It was one of those dream buyers you get where you like. I toured the 5 homes with him on the first tour, and he knew that the first one was it, and wrote the next 2 days later and got into contract. So we didn't have to tour too many.
I love that. That may be the record. No, that's not the record. The record from release to close is 9 days, right, Dan?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. That was, but
And
you
then the other win with that is the listing was the purchase price was 898, but at 898 the percentage of commission is 35%, and if it was at 899 and over, it would have been 40% to Zillow. So I got me a little extra 5% right there by that one little, which I didn't even know that, but yeah, that's
a
a win.
fraction of a number makes all the world of a difference.
I'm just going to throw this out there to everyone. If you have not checked the Zillow Flex commission sheet at what those price breakdowns are, just Google Zillow Flex payment, Zillow Flex cost, find that sheet and look at it. Because if you're like $1,000 apart and that makes a difference, you just tell your client, hey, let's do this offer price a little bit under, and I'll give you a $500 credit because the referral fee split breaks down. Like whatever you got to do to get it under that commission amount, because we've had some deals where someone's been over by like $1,000, and it's like, man, you paid an extra 5% when you didn't need to because you were at 401 instead of 400, or 400 instead of 399 or whatever. So I mean, it can be $5 over. It doesn't matter.
And that's good game, Dan, because we need to know what our payment structures are as business owners. We're business owners on this call. We're all entrepreneurs, right? And so if we have this relationship with Zillow, we need to be intimately involved and informed around the details of the payment structure. And if we've got to play chess instead of checkers to put an extra 5 or 10% in your pocket, by all means, play chess, right? But if we don't have what our business model is from our partner and understanding what our allocations are going to be, we're running a business, then you're missing out on a key opportunity like Drea just shared. The difference between 5% going to our partner and 5% coming to her pocket is a measly $1,000, right? So thank you for that contribution, Drea. Congratulations on your success. I'm super excited to see you closing these flex deals. You told me that you were about to crush it, and now you're showing us better than you could tell us. So, because you're trying to take our Patrick, you funny, but hey, kudos to everyone. Really grateful, and I'm just like super proud of all of our growth as a team, as you as individuals. You know, we're kicking ass and we're taking names, and we're going to continue in that lane. Dan, what you got, my brother?
Yeah, Bernard, on the topic of wins of the week, a team win that we've got, we just passed the 50 deal mark last week for 2025. Team Fast, all of you, the Zillow Flex team, we've closed 50 flex deals so far for 2025, and we've got another, I think, 18 deals pending right now.
Okay, just stop
So
right there. Just stop right there. Let that number settle in, you guys. When we came into 2025, January 1, Dan and I set the precedent. Our goal is 120 units. Was it 100 units, Dan?
120.
120 units. We are not even halfway through the year. We've got 50 deals closed and 18 pending. That's a total of 68 deals before we even get to half the year. And we haven't opened Stockton yet. That's not even we haven't even included that in our conversation. When we set a goal for ourselves, have a created emotional attachment, connection, reaction to that goal, production is automatic. It's the power of a spoken word, the power of visualization and belief. Action follows. I want to emphasize that to you guys. Dan, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we just don't want to blow past that statistic. I really want that to settle in. Yeah, I'm counting all those 18 pending. So from my perspective, we're at 68 deals on May 22nd, and we haven't opened Stockton yet, which Stockton is absolutely going to crush it, right, Brandy? All right, let's go. Dan, what else you got, my man?
Yeah, the other final thought on that is with those closed deals, so far we've paid out after the Zillow split, after Zillow's taken their cut, $700,000, just about $700,000 in commission income that's gone out,
Whoa.
right? $700,000 that's gone out. The majority of that goes out to all of you in the room. So what I want you to think about with this, that's under halfway to our goal for what we're going to be at, 120 deals, 100 million in closed volume. So that means 2025, there's $1 million in after Zillow split, right? Again, this is after Zillow's been paid $1 million in commission income on the table for 2025 for you in the room, right? These are deals that you guys are going to close, and it's up to you to figure out, is that going to be you? Is that going to be the person in the square next to you, right? How much of that $1 million in commission income are you going to snag your share of? Because we're going to get there. We're going to get to 120. We're on track. We're well actually ahead of schedule for hitting that 120 deals, 100 million in sales volume. Train is moving. So how much of that are you going to claim? So think about that.
It's good stuff. Good stuff, Dan. Thank you for those numbers. Appreciate it. We're going to blow the 120 transactions out of the water. We're going to blow through that 100 million. I think it's going to be more like 130, 140, particularly when we open up Stockton. So I want you guys to know, for those faces that I can see and those profile pictures that are static, I can see those as well. You guys are the talk of Zillow. I just want to let you know that. Okay. We have some updates for you with Stockton opening up. We've got our launch training tomorrow from 11 to 3. So if you're a part of the Stockton team, we're looking forward to connecting with you tomorrow, vibing, setting the tone for the takeover out in the Central Valley. Super excited about that. Danny, Elias, and I will have Hillary there as well, food, feeding everyone. But it's a thorough launch, and we're just blown away by that. In terms of the Bay Area, when the May stats come out, if you guys remember, we showed you what the rankings were in April. I guarantee you that our name will be at the top of that list, the number one seat in May, with the production that you guys have produced in the month of May. So I like to pause, because there's power in a pause, and just give you your flowers as often as I possibly can, because you deserve them. Now, let's get into some content for the day. I'm going to pull up a graph that Dan and I study. Probably him more so than me, being honest, because he is the lead scientist. But we know, and you heard me say this before, and I'll say it time and time again, the data tells the story. So I'm going to pull up some data and we're going to have a conversation, because what we're seeing now is that our top funnel metrics, we're crushing that. Answering the phone, right? Setting the ALM, we're crushing that. The top funnel metrics are just, those numbers have shifted into what, red to green. And now we're consistently in that green for those top funnel metrics. But where we're faltering, ladies and gentlemen, let me pull this up really quick. Let me exit out of here. Maybe I'll show them this one first. Where we're faltering, ladies and gentlemen, are not the top funnel metrics, because as you can see, we're crushing that.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Vernon?
Zoom in a little bit, make
Yeah.
it bigger.
Yeah. There you go.
More?
I think that's good.
Okay. We're crushing this. Our answer rate is 83% as of right now. Our ALM, based upon Zillow's AI grading system, we're crushing that. And our ALM last 3 months snapshot, we're crushing that. Here is where we're having the challenge. And this is what is going to drive our discussion for the next couple of conversion clinics, is this number. This mid-funnel metric, something is going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Our appointment rate, we're answering 88, 83% of the calls, but we're only setting appointments for 55% of the calls. That's a 28% delta. Okay? We're losing a tremendous amount of business by not being able to set the appointment. Now, granted, some of this could be a result of lead statuses not being properly categorized, which I understand that you delved deep into that last Thursday. So I would assume that will remove that reasoning. We've addressed that. So what that now tells me is we're not setting the appointment. And going further into that, we answer the phone, killing it. Setting the appointment, drop off. Meeting those appointments at 29% is a 26% delta. So if we take the 83% that we answer and we look at the 29% in comparison that we actually meet with, that's a 54% drop off. How many deals are in that 54%? How much money are we losing in that 54%? How many pairs of shoes will that buy your children with that 54%? How many meals, trips, movies, it's summer, hanging out, vacations are in that 54%? Here's the question that I need to answer to. And I'm only bringing this to the table as a conversation piece. This is not to throw anyone under the bus. This is not to judge anyone. We are not putting you on pause. This is not, you're not in the crucible, but we are going to talk about this. If your name under these two categories here, appointment set and appointment met, and there is a red next to your name, we're going to have a conversation about what is the sequence, the touch points, the proven process between when you set that appointment and when you meet that appointment. What is the process from when you answer the call and you lock it in? What are we doing? I see what we're not doing. The numbers tell us that. What I want to know, and I want to discuss, is what is the process? We know that there's an art and a science to converting online leads, which is completely different approach than converting your sphere of influence, which is a totally different approach from converting leads in an open house. Whereas in an open house, I can meet you, you can meet me, you can see my flow, I can pick up on your energy. We can create a human connection. We've made that bond. We're going to take the conversation to another scheduled appointment, and so on and so forth. Online leads don't convert in that dynamic because we don't have that human interaction. They can't see our flow. They've never heard our voice. You can't read their energy. So how are we overcoming those barriers that are essential to converting the leads? Now, I'm not only going to focus on this list at the top, because what I also want to do is if your name is at the bottom here where there's green, I want to say congratulations to you, because you are actually the ones that are meeting with those appointments. You're setting those appointments, and you don't have a 54% delta between your appointment set and appointment met. And those people at the bottom of this list whose name is in green are the ones that I really want to encourage you to take yourself off of mute and run it by us. Contribute to the collective space around what are you doing? What is your proven process? Because it's working. Where you set the appointment, and then you meet the appointment. Dan, did I miss something before we go further? No? Let's talk about this. Do you have a proven process? You answer the phone. You book the ALM. You set the appointment. What are your next steps? Now, if I don't get any volunteers, I'm going to pull this list back up, and those who has green in their metrics for appointment set and appointment met, I'm just going to call on 3 of you all. So you can openly volunteer, which is what I would prefer, or I can call on you. Aaron, that's 1. I need 2 more to contribute. What is your proven process from when you set an appointment, and I'm speaking of touch points, to where you meet that appointment? We're going to focus on that today. Thank you. I got 3 hands up. Aaron, we'll go Aaron, we'll go Brandy, then we'll go Patrick. Aaron, what is your proven process from when you set the appointment to when you meet the appointment? And I want you to dissect it in step-by-step details for the team.
You know what? It's weird because I don't feel like I have a real step by step. I just am going with the feel. So I don't
Okay.
take too many leads so I can kind of manage them. And I don't really flush them out until they're just like, leave me the hell alone. I don't really want to deal with you. So it gives me time with the tasks, like on Zillow, to go through it and then hit them. They might flake on me on one appointment, but I just like respond back, oh, I know life gets busy, blah, blah, blah. And then, you try to get it later until they just tell you kick rocks and you move it out. But it's just not taking a lot of them and trying to manage all of them and then letting them shift out. So I think that mine is just really kind of working them until they tell me kick rocks. And also I try to focus on, before I start taking more, converting one, like getting one to write an offer, getting one to do something extra. And then once I get somebody to write an offer, then I feel like, okay, I can turn it back on a little bit. So I self-pause a lot. And that probably helps me the most, is self-pausing, so I can like hit all my tasks, make sure I can take people to tour and do that. I'm trying to get more into partnering with people, because then I feel like I can take more, and then I don't have to be everywhere at once. But I think just managing the flow of incoming leads helps me to really work the ones I have to the bone. And then, like I was saying earlier, I try my best to immediately update the status right afterwards so that I don't forget to do that part.
I love that. So what I heard from you, Aaron, is that you're intentional about managing your lead flow, right? And I love that approach. We share a similar approach around how we approach our leads, because what it does is it gives us an opportunity to really work that lead with intentionality. And so what I also heard is that you don't have yet a proven process. I think your proven process is diligence. Your proven process is consistency. Your proven process, our process is, right? So I love that. But I also want to encourage you to design a proven process, like a sequence. And what I mean by that is, once you set the appointment, are we sending a recap video? Are we sending a recap email? Immediately recapping the conversation. And I advocate for this. If you sat in a one-on-one with me, you know that I'm a stickler for having you pull up your follow-up boss and show me your video interaction and engagement. And here is why. Remember, converting an online lead is an art and a science. We don't have that physical interaction from an open house. So how do we overcome that barrier? Well, we recap the video and we give them some energy in the camera and we try to establish it that way, right? Aaron, do you use video to engage with your leads?
Yeah, I do. After the recap, I don't do the recap right away. Sometimes I don't know if I'm giving them too much information. So when I do a recap, I'm like trying to give them the market data of the area we were looking in and different stuff. And with the condos, it's a little easier because you have really like microclimate or micro markets in each community where you can talk about what's been selling in the community over the year. And so I try to squeeze that in a minute or less, but I don't hit them with it right away. I usually will wait a day or two and include it in a follow-up type of thing. And then I guess my proven process is just looking at Zillow, clearing my tasks on Zillow, messing with the follow-up boss. So on my daily calendar, I do have like main things to do, and it just is a check boxes like open follow a boss, open Zillow, open Real Scout, and almost by doing that, you end up starting to work it. So I don't have like a pipeline where I'm doing it, but maybe it is a pipeline because it's all of them. So just
That's a
following the
total
tasks and
pipeline.
stuff. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
total pipeline, right? What Aaron is doing is working his systems with intentionality on a daily basis. Aaron is making sure that his systems are aligned with each other. Follow up boss, real scout, so on and so forth. Staying on buyer activity, engaging with them as soon as he recognizes new buyer activity. Having a system, whether it's video follow up, text message, reaching out, outbound calls, and so forth. But it's based upon his consistent practice of scrubbing and managing his systems. See, we're the operators of the system. The system is not going to run itself. We, as operators, have to run the system with intentionality. If you don't have systems, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have a business model. If you're just winging it and trying to catch the low-hanging fruit in the unicorn leads, you won't sustain. So, Aaron, thank you for sharing that, brother. Brandy, what's your contribution? Then we'll go Patrick, then we'll go Mama San, then we'll bring the conversation full circle, talk about some strategies that we can implore, and then we'll close out so that you guys can get back to this beautiful sunny day and the lovely life of production. Brandy, what you got?
I just making it your first priority, making them your first priority. Even if you're not available, I have learned the great thing of partnership. So and just being able to be like, let's partner, let's pass it off. I think just connecting with the client really quick and making them like I said, they're my first priority, even if they're not, at least they feel like they are my first priority to look forward to wanting to keep that appointment with me. So then that way there's no like, oh, well, maybe I'll meet you. Like they don't second guess it because I'm like, let's go. And keeping communication. Whether it's a phone call, text, email, I always ask them what they prefer. And then I still try to hit all the points. So then that way, like I'm in their face. I send them that reminder. And yeah, I just feel like I'm like all up in their presence. There ain't no way they're not going to show up to that appointment.
Freaking love that. I love that. And here's the reason that I love that, Brandy, because Brandy's focus is the customer experience. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Her focus is not the paycheck. It's the customer experience. It's the relationship over the transaction, right? It's the human connection. And with her persistence and the customer experience being like the at the forefront of all of her functions, all of her engagement, that person feels valued on the other end, right? It feels like she's the advisor. It feels like she's a part of their family. It feels like she's an extension of them. That's fantastic because what she's done is she's connected on a human level to then walk them through the biggest transaction of their lives. People want to work with who they know, like, and trust. Period. The end. If I don't like you, I ain't rocking with you. If I don't trust you that your word is valued, that your word is bond, I ain't letting you in. I'll go look for someone else. But if you are have created an environment where my experience is your priority, right? Which looks different for every lead. That's why her numbers are the way that they are, that Dan just put in the damn chat, because she's focused on the customer experience. Brandy, I love that. I'm looking forward to you crushing it in Stockton, girl. Period. The end. Thank you. Mama San, what's your contribution? Then we'll keep moving right along. You're on mute. Your hair looks cute though.
Okay, so I have my list or my proven process is confirm with the seller. And I always say the seller, but we know we're calling the listing agent. Call back the buyer and let them know, or text an email letting them know that it's confirmed. I also send a video so they can see my face because yeah, it's like a blind date, right? You don't know who you're gonna see. So it's always
Right.
better to show your face. The day before and the day of, I always confirm with the client because things change and want to make sure that I'm not wasting my time or their time. I always bring an MLS one sheet of the properties I'm touring, so it's always nice to hand something, anything. It's kind of like a little present, like, oh, I'm taking the time to give you information. So always bring one MLS one sheets with information. At the end of my tours, I always hand a hard copy of a buyer's consultation, so they have that in hand when we do the buyer's consultation online, and then I follow up with a video message after the tour is over. So that's my.
You know, I love that. You know, I love every piece of that. And here's what I heard. That's a play. You know, if anybody, remember we used to play football or any sport, and we used to get in the huddle when we were kids and draw the play out on the dirt. Okay, you're gonna go right there, and we're using our finger to draw the play, the X's and the O's, and so on and so forth. Those are her X's and O's, right? This is the sequence that she's going to run the lead through. She knows it's a blind date. She recognizes that. So let me humanize myself. Let them get a dose of who they're going to be meeting, who to look for, right? And then there's these touch points that she's very intentional about as it relates to connecting with the lead. And as she just reported in the wins for the week, you know, the result of that is she's absolutely crushing it. Not only through Flex, she's crushing it through her sphere of influence as well. But that play there has an impact on her numbers. And as a result, she's producing at a higher level. So that better have been your play, Drea. All the damn one-to-ones and you and me sat down and that's that's great to hear. Patrick, know you had your hand up, you put it down, but I'm calling on you, my man. We got 7 minutes. I know that you've got a playbook, and so share with the group what your proven process is, bro, because you've been absolutely crushing it, both within Flex and in your sphere of influence. So give us a dose out the old upcoming top producers playbook.
Hey, no, I appreciate that. No, mine's very similar to Mama San. Honestly, minus the MLS one sheet. I'm gonna take that from you, put that add that to the equation. But for me, you know, I try to be kind of like what Brandy's doing. I try to be really personal on the phone. Like y'all know, I get really friendly, really fast, and I feel like that works in my benefit. So kind of like Aaron too. I go with the flow. So you know, if it's an older client, you know, I'm gonna respect their time. But what I actually like to do before the meeting, the morning of or at lunchtime, depending on what time it is, I always call them and ask if they want some coffee, you know, or something. Um, just an extra, you know, touch point, just, you know, add some pepper in there, right? And yeah, I mean, after that, the post systems is very similar to Mama San, you know, just wrap it all up with an email template. I let them know that I'm gonna send them an email template. I also let him know about Real Scout as well. I asked him like, hey, I can do this daily, weekly, whatever you want. We can, you know, make this as efficient as possible for you. And then I let him know as well that, hey, 2 days from now I'm free, or actually later tonight I'm free for a little Zoom meeting and do that buyer's consult or buyer strategy session and knock that out all the way.
You know, I love your approach. I've been loved your approach, and that's exactly why you're seeing the results that you're seeing now because you're intentional about observing. You're confident in your service delivery. You're detailed in the steps, and so here's something to learn from all that have contributed to what's working for them. For those of you whose numbers are not what you're capable of producing, there's a reason for that. Draw something from those who are winning at that mid funnel metric. Draw something from their playbook. That's why we contribute in the collective space so that we can learn from each other. Okay, me included. And so if your name is at the top of that list, and I'm not going to put the list up again, you ran through it, you saw it. If there's something is missing in your proven process, which is why your delta is what it is. Take something that you've learned today and implement it into your proven process because Your money, the quality of life in terms of the success of your business is contingent upon it. If Zillow Flex or online leads are a part of your business model, by all means, have a system designed by which you can maximize your production. That's why we are in business. Does that make sense to everyone? I just want to make sure that we're just having a very basic, clear discussion. There should be a sequence. There should be a proven process. It is unique to you and it's unique to the lead that you're engaging with, but have a play. Dan just put the link to the conversion playbook in the chat. If you haven't clicked that link so that you have access to that conversion playbook that we have worked our ass off to put together, that he has worked hours and hours upon to compose that for you to have an actual playbook. Anybody in the sports, that football, okay, they just had the NFL draft where they just totally blackball Shedeur Sanders, but we'll talk about that in a later conversation. But the point of the matter is this: when they report in the rookie camp, what's the first thing that's handed to them? The playbook. It's the playbook. They study the playbook. Okay, they remember the X's and O's. They master the X's and the O's so that by the time it's come to practice on the field, it's straight execution. This is no different. The playbook is in the chat. Study it. Take some X's and O's out of the playbook and implement them into your playbook. You guys, we are at the middle of the year. We're only going up from here. What we did to get to this point, although we are absolutely blowing the freaking roof off the building, it's going to take modifications to make history. And each one of you on this call, whether you're engaged with your camera being on or you've got your profile, face, or name on the screen, you're history makers. You are history makers. Mama San, you had your hand up for a closing contribution. You put it back down. What you got? Rapid fire, and then we're going to shut it down.
Make sure we're also giving each other as teammates flowers. We're all helping each other out. Pat and Sunny and a lot of people on the team always help me out if I can't make it, or just partnership. Take each other out to lunch, shoot some pool. Like Pat and we play. I'm 8-4, buddy. But no, take care of each other. You know what I mean? Like, and give each other flowers because we're all here as a team.
Hey, Patrick, did she just high side on you, bro?
She just made this shit personal. Yo, run that shit back tonight.
8-4, buddy.
Hey, I love that. Whether you believe it or not, we're a family.
Yes.
You're straight like that. We rock with each other. We've cried with each other. We learn with each other. We grow with each other. Me and George is like my little brother. I connected with him on such a deeper level when we spent that week in New York City in January, freezing our ass off, but having hella fun. That's my brother. Dan, that's my brother. I talk to Dan 3-4 times a week like clockwork, right? He may not always respond at abnormal hours of the day, morning or night, because he ain't with the bullshit. Dan got a boundary. If you don't hit him before the boundary, or after, he is not responding. He'll deal with that tomorrow. That's just his flow. So I know to hit him at certain times if I want to get a response from him, right? But I'm saying that to say, I built a relationship with KD, Brett, Jay, Blessing, Lisa. Lisa's being brought into the fold of the team dynamic. We're a family. We learn together, we grow together, we eat together, we cry together, we laugh together. Whether you realize it or not, we're life in life together. And so let it extend into business. Let it extend into our relationship. So Mama San, thank you for that contribution. And Dan, if you don't have anything, I'm going to shut it down. In that, I love you guys. I'm proud of each and every one of you guys. It's an honor to lead you in this Zillow Flex program. It's an honor to sit in these spaces. And I know I'm speaking for Dan as well, to coach you guys, to do the work that we do on the back end, because we want to see you win. And by all means, you guys, we are crushing shit. So crush the rest of your week. Until next Thursday, grace, peace, and blessings to you. As always, keep it moving towards your dream, your goals, and your vision. Let's go.